All right, welcome back to ABA exam review and the continuation of our BCBA practice question series, where we're going through another set of questions together and breaking them down. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please like and subscribe. Check out behavioranalyststudy.com for all of our study materials, including our combo pack. When you pass the exam, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. Let's get going. You're working with Mike, who has a strong startle response to the sound of a vacuum cleaner. Initially, every time the vacuum cleaner is turned on, Mike covers his ears and cries. You want to reduce Mike's startle response using habituation. How would you do that? Right, so this question is very specific about the type of intervention they want you to use. And so in this type of question, you need to be very careful that your answer choice answers the question. The question wants you to use habituation to do what? To reduce Mike's response of crying and covering his ears in response to the vacuum. Now, there are many ways to change Mike's behavior, to reduce Mike's behavior, to increase other behaviors, but we want to answer the question. And the question says, how would you use habituation? What is habituation? Habituation is repeatedly exposing someone to a stimulus. And so the repeated exposure reduces the response, in this case, the startle response. So if we want to do, or we want to use habituation, we need to repeatedly expose Mike to that stimulus of the vacuum. So let's look at A. Gradually increase the volume of the vacuum while pairing it with preferred sounds. Now, this isn't going to accomplish habituation. Could it possibly change the vacuum sound if it was paired with preferred sounds? There's a chance something might happen where it could change how Mike responds to the sound, but it isn't really habituation. B, use a token economy to reinforce Mike when he does not cry and cover his ears in the presence of the vacuum. B is going to be a reinforcement strategy, or reinforcing Mike for doing something else instead of crying and covering his ears, but it's still not habituation. C, turn on the vacuum cleaner for brief periods without other stimuli until the response starts to decrease. Good. C is the closest to habituation. We want to expose Mike to that vacuum cleaner stimuli. That is what is eliciting this startle response. So we want to expose Mike strictly to that vacuum stimuli. C is better than A. It's a good example of habituation. And in A, you've got multiple stimuli going on at once. If we can isolate the stimulus, it's even better for habituation. And then D, teach relaxation and frustration tolerance techniques to Mike. Again, could it be effective? Sure, possibly, but it's not going to be habituation. And the question wants you to use habituation. So you would need to turn on the vacuum cleaner for brief periods without other stimuli until the response starts to decrease. A behavior analyst is working with the young client, Lily, who exhibits frequent tantrums when she is hungry. The behavior analyst notices that Lily's tantrums significantly decrease after she has eaten. To better understand this behavior, the analyst wants to analyze the effects of food and hunger on the client. What would we hypothesize the analyst would discover? Pretty straightforward question here. What do we think the analyst is going to discover during her analysis? And what do we know so far? We know the analyst is working with the client who tantrums when hungry. The analyst sees the tantrums decrease after she's eaten. So client hungry, tantrums when she eats, tantrums go down. What would we hypothesize are the effects of food and hunger on the client? Well, clearly, when hungry, the value of the food goes up. The food, once eaten, will satiate the client, and the tantrums will go down. So, what might we guess, or what might we think the analyst is going to discover? A, the state of hunger serves as an abolishing operation. Is being hungry abolishing the need for something or the value of something? No, the state of hunger is establishing food to have value. So B, the state of hunger serves as an establishing operation, is a better answer. It's going to temporarily change Lily's behavior. It's going to temporarily increase the value of food. And then once she's eaten, the value changes again and Lily stops tantruming. So B looks pretty good. C, the state of hunger serves as a discriminative stimulus. The state of hunger is not signaling food is available. You can be hungry, but that does not mean food is available. And SD, a discriminative stimulus, signals something is available. And then D, the state of hunger serves as an unconditioned stimulus. No, hunger is not an unconditioned stimulus. It's going to be our motivating operation. It's going to be our establishing operation for Lily wanting the food. It's going to increase the value of our food. So the state of hunger serves as an establishing operation. You and your wife were making homemade dumplings last night, and you're trying to improve your technique for rolling the dumplings once they are filled. If you misroll a dumpling, you then intentionally misroll that dumpling 5 more times in hopes that you won't misroll the next dumpling. What are you likely attempting? All right, so what are we attempting here? Pretty straightforward overcorrection question. We are making dumplings. You want to improve your technique. If you mess up, then you intentionally mess up 5 more times. What type of overcorrection requires you to mess up on purpose? A, positive practice overcorrection. With positive practice overcorrection, we're doing the right behavior over and over again. B, negative practice overcorrection is when we're doing the wrong thing over and over again. With negative practice overcorrection, we are messing up repeatedly on purpose. If you're going to misroll that dumpling on purpose 5 more times, then you are going to engage in negative practice overcorrection. C, restitutional overcorrection is you repairing the environment. It's not what we're doing here. And then D, negative reinforcement. Well, you're trying to decrease the behavior, so you're not attempting reinforcement. What you're likely attempting is negative practice overcorrection by engaging in the wrong behavior over and over again. A behavior analyst is monitoring the frequency of hand-raising behavior in a classroom. During a 30-minute observation period, a student raised their hand 15 times. The behavior analyst wants to determine the rate of hand-raising behavior to assess the effectiveness of an intervention. How would they calculate this measurement? Okay, pretty straightforward measurement question. It's written a little differently, and the question is asked a little differently than a lot of measurement questions you might see, because it's asking you, how are you going to calculate measurement? Now, in order to answer the question, what type of measurement are we using? Well, we know the analyst is monitoring frequency in the classroom. They're doing it during a 30-minute observation period, and the student raised their hand 15 times. Be careful here, right? We have frequency, we have a sample of time, we have a count, but the analyst wants to know the rate. That's how what we're gonna calculate, because that's what the analyst wants to know. So how do you calculate rate if we have a frequency of 15 and a time of 30? A, divide the total number of hand raises by the total observation time in minutes. Good. We're going to take frequency over time, and that is going to be our rate. We're going to divide 15 by 30. What about B, divide the total observation time in minutes by the total number of hand raises? That's the opposite. Rate is calculated by frequency over time. C, multiply the total number of hand raises by the total observation time in minutes. That has nothing to do with the rate. We're not going to multiply these things together. And then D, subtract the total number of hand raises from the total observation time in minutes. Again, we're not multiplying, we're not subtracting to find rate. We are dividing. We're dividing frequency by time. In this case, we're dividing 15 times by 30 minutes, and that's going to give us our rate. Clark eats cereal every morning for his breakfast. Clark will eat his cereal, then say, "I'm all done, Mom," and his mom will take his empty bowl away and put it in the sink. Clark always communicates this way. What is impacting Clark's behavior? So we're looking at Clark's behavior and what impact is having on Clark's behavior. What is impacting Clark's behavior, I should say? Well, we always know, we know Clark always communicates this way, meaning his behavior is being maintained. It's being reinforced. We know reinforcement is affecting Clark. Well, what is that consequence? What is that reinforcement? Well, when Clark eats his cereal, he says, "I'm done." And as a consequence, Mom takes his empty bowl away. Mom is removing that empty bowl. Clark says, I'm all done. The bowl gets removed. So he's getting reinforced with removal, making that what? A, positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement, the consequence, something is added. Here, something's being taken away. That empty bowl is taken away. Clark is being impacted by B, negative reinforcement. Not going to be C or D because it's not punishment. How do we know it's not punishment? Because Clark always communicates this way. If Clark was being punished, he would not always communicate this way. He would stop communicating this way. What is impacting Clark's behavior? B, negative reinforcement. That empty bowl is taken away. Thank you for watching. Check out behavioranalyststudy.com for all of our study materials. Be sure to like and subscribe for all of our updates. When you pass, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. See you soon.